Hi, it's Wendy. I just want to quickly show you this kit I'm going to play with in this video. It's the honeybee kit from Lolly's Printables. Now this lady does come to my journal group, and she's started designing papers and sent me these to play with. There's a lot of pages and a few pages of ephemera. So I've got a project in mind for this one, and we'll see how it goes, but I just wanted a quick flip through before I started cutting it up and doing things with it. I love the way she's done these pages, like made them vintage style. I've got that many things on the go at the moment. I really should sit down and get things finished, but we'll see how it goes. Aren't they lovely? I think everybody likes bees. I love this because it's like got fine line drawing on. Now I'll definitely be able to use this one. This was a misprint on the last page, so I can use that for collaging. So I'm going to be having a play and I'll be back shortly. Hi everyone. Right, I'm back. I've decided what I'm going to do with the papers from Lolly's Printables, the Bee Crafty, sorry, this one, Be My Honey. I was watching a video by Rach from Rach and Bella Crafts, and they'd been on the retreat weekend, and she was doing a concertina book, and she'd got the inspiration from Steph at Hillview Top Crafts. So I popped over and had a look, and she'd done this concertina book. Now I did mine on plain A4 paper, and I glued, I think there's 9 pieces just glued together by about 1.5 centimetres, like a big concertina like this. Then I folded it into the size that I want, because this is the book that I'm going to use, the back and the front of the book, and it measures 5.5 inches by 7 3/4. So I cut my A4 papers down to size, and then I collaged like Steph did and Rachel on one side. Just tried to keep it all sort of neutral. All coffee dyed doilies, music paper. This is like a tray paper. I've got a stack of those that I use on here sometimes. Book pages, just like that. So what I'm going to do next is find some images from these papers that I want to use just as a sort of corner piece. Maybe do some stenciling on here. Let me just see if I can find one that might be nice. Like cut a bee like that, maybe cut that out and put it onto a corner of a page. Just things like that. So I'm going to maybe print these some more, because I have done these double-sided, or my printer doesn't actually do double-sided, but I put them into the printer again to print on the other side. So you maybe just cut some of the bees out or some of the quotes and stick them onto the collaged side. Then keep this partly for journaling on as well, but I will put some images on there, and then I'm going to go and sew it all the way round each page, which will take some time. So I'll be back when I've done that. Okay, this is where I am up to at the moment. I've cut out some elements from some of the sheets of paper. This is the book I'm using, like I said just before, the measurements, and I've not glued it yet and I've not stitched it, so I need to cover the front and back covers. I'm not sure whether to use some paper from the kit or material, so I've just written on here glue to the front cover, and I had to add this piece because I'd already stuck this lovely bee on this page, and if I'd left it as it was, that would have been covered and glued to the front cover. So I thought, right, I'll add another piece so I can glue that to the cover, and then we've got a little flippy out. So this is as we are at the moment. So I'm just going to take a little while to stitch this, because I'm going to go round each page, all the edges sort of. So it's going to take a little bit of working out. So I'm really quite happy with how this is looking. And so that's all the collaged page, and that's going to be glued to the back cover. And then you flip it over and you've got all this journaling space, which I am going to maybe do a bit of stenciling on and stick some little, you know, snippets and pockets and stuff. This was just the leftover pieces from the ripping some papers up from the collaging. So I just stuck some bits on, made them into little snippets. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine now and stitch all round these edges. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I've stitched all the way round, but I have realised that I've made a bit of a mistake, but it's not, I can't really correct it. When I was rounding the corners, I only did one side. And when I was stitching it, I realised that I hadn't rounded these corners. But I was already stitching, so I didn't want to break off and make a mess. So I stitched straight on every other page, obviously, and just went round, tried to go round the curves. I think in hindsight I probably wouldn't round the corners, just go straight across. And I was going to stitch down each page, but then I thought, no, I'm just going to leave it as is, and then that side is plain. Otherwise I'd have had stitching there, and you don't want to be writing over stitching. So I need to think about what I'm going to use for my covers. I quite like this. It's a novel idea of a different way of doing a journal, and I'm really happy with it. You could in effect collage both sides, which I think Steph did with hers, but I like to leave journaling space in my journals for whoever buys it then can use it as a journal. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll be back in a later date. I think what I'm going to do is cut this plate out and stick that on the front, and then I'm going to use one of the pages for each side, back and front. Now I have to make sure that I've got enough. I need to do it that way really, then I can fold. There's enough paper to fold over. So I need to find a print that would work, which that one would. You know, it's not necessarily has to be that way, it would work that way. So I'm going to keep that one aside, and probably this one would as well. So I'm going to cover the front and back with those. Let me just clear up a little bit, put those away in the folder along with the journal, get that out of the way, and let's have a go at covering. I think I'll have this as the front, because then that panel would go in there, because if I use that one it would cover the heads of the bees up. So let's have a go at, I'm not bothered about the white bits on because they will all be hidden. Right, let's have a go at doing one of these, and I'm going to use my 3-in-1 plus glue stick. Wrong way. Let's just wipe that off. That's not a very good start, is it? And because this is shiny, I need to get a good covering of glue. So I'm going to go all over with my glue stick right up to the edges, and then put some 3-in-1 on as well. Just do this side first, and then I'll think about mitring the corners, and I'll just go over the glue stick as well, just to get a good coverage of glue. Right, let's get that in the middle. It's really very sticky. Just make sure that that will do. Now it's going to take the bees off, but that can't be helped. Right, let me get my presser. And then let's just press in the sides, give them a bit of a fold, like so, and then we'll think about the corners. Now snips to just miter in the corners. I like to leave probably about 1/4 of an inch there, because this is quite a thick book cover. I'm not the best at doing this sort of thing, I must admit. I watch people on Instagram and YouTube and they just get it absolutely perfect each time. Let's get rid of those bits. Right, I'm going to use glue stick and 3-in-1, and I'm going to get it right into those corners as well, and put some 3-in-1 right on the edge of the book and on these edges. Right, let's see how that goes, and feed it round, pressing all the time, like so. Now I'm just going to use my bone folder and try and get these corners in, so hopefully the corners will look nice and neat. And I'll do the bottom piece. Let's go in with glue stick first, and into there. Does anyone have any good tips about doing this? I don't know if there is a better way of getting nice corners. The book is too thick to put actual metal corners on. I don't think I've got any. Right, let's angle that in a little bit. Right, let's attempt the sides. 3-in-1 again, right inside there, on the edges, and on here. And let's see how that goes. I'm just going to fold it over on my desk. See, I've got a bit sticking out there, so I need to get that in a bit more. I think that one's okay. I'm pulling it in with my fingers while I'm pressing the glue down. But that doesn't look too bad. A lady I watch on Instagram, she sort of presses in with her bone folder on the corners like that. That's not too bad, I don't think. Right, let's attempt this one. We don't know we can do it until we try, do we? Right, let's put the top on that one as well. Get my corners in and fold down against the table and fold it up. Pull in the paper. It's not bad. Got a bit of a crease there. Not bad. Right, that's the back. Bit of an air bubble there, but we can always cover that up with something, unless it's just something that's on the paper. Right, that's the back. So I'll do the same with the front, and then we'll glue in the journal. Okay, I've done the back cover like so. I just moved the paper up a little bit, then we get a good image of the bee on. So that is, I think we'll have it that way, so the bee. So that's the front cover and the back cover. Yeah, because I can feel the edge of the cover there, so that's the right way. Yeah. So let's get this glued in. So I need to put glue all over here, and again I'm going to use glue stick and 3-in-1. Make sure I get right to the edges. Then I'm going to leave this for the day to dry really well, and I'm going to clamp it if I can find clamps big enough, bulldog clips, to dry thoroughly. Now I'm just going to smush this glue to the edge with my finger, because I want it right up to the edges. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more just down here. Smush that in. Then get it right in the middle. I'm just trying to make sure there's the same distance, front and back, top and bottom. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now I don't want to, I'm just pressing down with my cloth and fingers. I think that looks okay. Just lift this up, make sure that's glued there. In fact, what I will do is put some of these bulldog clips, and I'm going to try and get them right onto the corners. I'll have to go into my stash and try and find some more of these to do each corner. I don't think they'll mark the paper, but here I'm going to glue, this is the back and that one's going there, so I'm going to do the same here. I'll glue the ends of the stitching across there, get right up to the top and bottom. Hi, sorry about that. My camera cut out while I was filming that last section. So where I'm up to now is both front and back are glued on. That's glued on tight there, and I've just left that piece of card, so there's a bit of a flippy there, and it's all ready to be filled with ephemera and pockets and tags, etc. So that is the collaged side, and then you turn it over and there's the journal inside, and I've just done a bit of stenciling. So I'm quite happy with that, and I've just made a little pocket on some of the bits. So what I've decided to do is make a belly band closure like in a previous video, like this one, but I'm going to make one that matches more. Use some bits of the papers and with a ribbon tie, but I think I'm going to put a few grommets in so that you can expand it as the journal gets bigger, and that one I just put a dangle on, and one of the pen holders as well can clip on the front of that. So you've got everything together, what you need, your pen, everything there. So this will be in a future video that I'm going to fill the put pockets in, etc. So I'm sorry about the camera giving up at that point, but I'd already glued one side, so you did see how I did it. So thanks for joining me today, and I would love you to be a subscriber and I will put the links below to Lolly's printables for this kit, and I shall see you next time. Bye.